Silence is what allows you to hear everything. What we figured out from the sounds were that every 10 to 15 days, the guards would take a selection of prisoners out of each cell of the prison.
Lawrence considers himself a sort of ear witness investigator. He's interested in sound and the role that sound plays in investigations, criminal and other. What you'll find in the exhibition are three key works of art, large installations. One is a sound listening room. The work is called Sadnaya, the Missing 19 Decibels, and it has clips of recordings and interviews that Lawrence did with detainees from the Sadnaya prison in Syria. The second work is Earwitness Inventory, which is a sort of library of sound effect objects that Lawrence has put together. He quickly realized with the interviews from the detainees that we don't have a language to talk about the sounds that we hear often. And so what you'll see in that installation is a number of works that look like mundane objects, but these are all objects that are used to make specific sounds that have nothing to do with what the object is. And then the third work is a piece called Walled Unwalled. It's a video installation, and it is a work that explores the idea of the leakage of sound and how sound cannot be contained, and what that means, particularly in relation to the Sadnaya prison, but also multiple different kind of criminal investigations, such as Oscar Pistorius' case in South Africa. Lawrence's work really asks the visitor to slow down and just take a little time to kind of process and break down what it is that he's trying to present. Upon first look, you might not understand why some of this is art, but it requires the visitor to kind of dig deep and read or have conversations or really just kind of think through what it is he's trying to present. Two of the exhibitions are really exploring the notion of sound as a kind of tool. After I knew that we would be presenting Lawrence's work, I had been speaking with Eric Ellingsen for over a year and knew that this was also in his practice. And I thought it would be interesting to invite a second artist who also works with sound but could think about it in the context of St. Louis. And so I think we pride ourselves in bringing the world to St. Louis, but we're also really proud of how we are part of St. Louis, and this is our immediate community that we want to be constantly engaged with. So how can we bring an artist working in St. Louis to think about some of the same issues that an artist in Beirut is thinking about through the context and the lens of being in St. Louis? The other aspect that ties a lot of the works that you'll see on display today and in our season is this notion of absence. The absence of sound and silence in Lawrence's work is similar to the absence of sometimes the form in Paul's work. And so as much as you might look at these photographs and see body parts and figures, there are also times where the figure might not be fully present, but there are sort of traces of the figure, of the person's presence. And so there are really interesting ties, and I think one of the things that we really enjoy at the museum is once all the exhibitions are open and we can finally have conversations with the public, we really start to learn, and the work opens up in new ways for us through our engagement with our community.
As I think about where our community is, I think about Dr. Martin Luther King, and he said a couple of things that would really stand out with me over the years, and one is that he said something to the effect, I'm paraphrasing a bit, that I refuse to accept the notion that mankind is so bound to racism that the brotherhood of peace and truth of a brighter day is not and cannot become a reality. But in the end, I believe that trust and love has the final word.